Everyone envied Amara Gold, until the past she buried came knocking, louder than fame, louder than luxury, louder than she could hide. Lagos had its celebrities, its socialites, its overnight sensations. But none of them carried the city the way Amara Gold did. When she walked into a room, cameras found her like bees smelling honey. When she posted a picture, brands scrambled to repost it before her fans even finished liking it. Her lifestyle was a dream wrapped in diamonds, private jets, champagne brunches, luxury vacations, and outfits that trended before she even stepped out of the house. To the world, she was the face of the soft life. But the world did not know her journey. Not the part before the lights. Not the part she never wanted photographed. Long before Lagos crowned her its golden girl, she lived in a small, overheated room in Enugu. A room where rain leaked through the roof. Where her mother counted coins to put food on the table. Where dreams felt like things only rich people were allowed to have. Amara grew up with one truth burning inside her. Poverty will not be my ending. That fire pushed her into every opportunity she could find. Local fashion shows, small beauty contests, church pageants, anything that lifted her name even a little. Her breakthrough came unexpectedly. A community pageant, barely known, barely sponsored, barely decorated. But she won. And that win became her door to Lagos. Once she arrived, she refused to look back. She reinvented everything. Her name, her accent, her wardrobe, her entire story. Amara Nwankwo sounded like the past she wanted to outrun. So she chose a new identity, Amara Gold, a name that glittered, a name that hid the cracks beneath. Brand deals rolled in. Fame followed. Luxury wrapped itself around her like a second skin. But late at night, when the events were over and she sat alone by the tall glass windows of her Victoria Island apartment, the city lights reminded her of something she never told anyone. A secret she locked away. A wound she never allowed to heal. A moment from her old life that she buried so deeply she pretended it never happened. Yet, beneath the beauty, beneath the diamonds, beneath the carefully curated perfection, she lived with the fear that one day, somehow, the past she ran away from would find her. And Lagos, unpredictable, noisy, full of sharp eyes and sharper tongues, was the last place anyone could truly hide. Amara didn't know it yet. But the wind had already begun to shift. Whispers were gathering. And the life she built was standing on a foundation she prayed would never crack. For a long time, Amara Gold seemed unstoppable. Every week, another magazine cover. Every month, another luxury brand partnership. Her skincare line sold out so fast that people joked she sprinkled gold dust inside the bottles. Big men wanted her at their events. Politicians wanted her in their photographs. Influencers begged for collaborations. She was living the kind of soft life that made girls screenshot her Instagram and whisper, "God, when?" But Lagos is a city where secrets walk on two legs. And the past has a strange way of crawling through the smallest cracks. It happened on a Friday night at Club Mirage, the one place where Amara felt untouchable. The VIP section always opened for her without question. The DJ always played her favorite song when she walked in. Waiters hovered like loyal guards. Until Kayoma, her assistant, approached with trembling fingers and a pale face. "Madam, someone sent this to your private number." Amara took the phone casually, expecting a brand DM, a fan message, or another expensive invitation. But her smile vanished. Her throat tightened. Her hand went cold. On the screen was a picture she thought she destroyed years ago. Her old self, plain clothes, exhausted eyes, hair tied in a scarf, holding a tiny newborn wrapped in a faded towel. The caption hit her chest like a blow. "Meet the real Amara Gold." Her vision blurred for a moment. The noise of the club disappeared. The chandeliers dimmed. It felt like the music slowed down just for her heart to race faster. "Delete it," she said quietly. "Madam." "I said delete it." Kayoma obeyed, but worry lingered in her eyes. She had worked with Amara long enough to recognize fear when she saw it. The next morning, entertainment blogs posted subtle teasers. Who really is Amara Gold? Her rise to fame seems too perfect. By afternoon, a gossip vlogger tweeted. Sources say luxury influencer Amara Gold once disappeared from her hometown for months, Why? By evening, an anonymous account posted. What is she hiding? These weren't accusations. Not yet. They were whispers, small, soft, but dangerous. Amara felt them closing in. One night, after a high-profile dinner event on the island, Kayama found Amara sitting silently in the backseat of the SUV, staring at nothing. Madam, are you sure you're okay? Amara didn't answer immediately. She was lost in a memory she hated. A dim hospital room. A newborn baby crying. Her aunt's shaking hands. Her own silent tears. Then the decision she made, the decision she buried. A decision she never forgave herself for. She blinked and came back to the present. I'm fine, she said softly. But her voice sounded tired. Afraid. Exposed. Kayama didn't believe her, but she kept quiet. Because some wounds don't need questions, they need space. At a magazine interview 2 days later, the journalist smiled too widely. Amara darling, were you always this fabulous? Or did you ever live in the trenches like the rest of us? People laughed. Amara's chest tightened. She laughed along, but her fingers dug into her palm under the table. The journalist's tone wasn't innocent, it was mocking, knowing, digging. Someone was feeding Lagos pieces of her buried truth. Someone who wanted her image to crack. Someone who knew exactly where to cut. Back home that night, Amara stood in front of her massive mirror. Her makeup was perfect. Her wig flawless. Her jewelry glittering. But her eyes. They looked like the eyes of the girl she once was. Frightened, uncertain, drowning in a secret too heavy to carry. The past she left behind was no longer whispering. It was coming closer. And Amara could feel it. Her luxury perfume line was launching at the prestigious Sapphire Hall in Victoria Island. The whole place glittered, gold drapes, crystal chandeliers, white roses lining the walkway. Guests arrived in designer suits and sparkling gowns. Cameras flashed like thunder. Influencers, politicians, celebrities, all came for her. It was supposed to be Amara Gold's brightest night. She wore a stunning gold dress that flowed behind her like liquid fire. Her smile was flawless, her hair perfect, her confidence unshakable. But as she stepped onto the red carpet, Lagos fate decided to strike. A tall young man pushed through the crowd. His hands shook. His breathing was loud. His eyes locked directly on her, burning with pain and anger. Before the security could block him, he shouted, Amara Nwankwo. The hall fell silent. That name, that old name, cut through the air like a blade. Every camera turned. Every guest stopped moving. Even the music died in the background. Amara froze. Only a few people knew her real surname. And even fewer dared to say it out loud. The young man's voice rose, shaking but fierce. Tell them about your child. Gasps erupted. People whispered. Phones lifted. Record buttons clicked. Amara's knees trembled. Security! Kayama screamed. But it was too late. The young man kept shouting. Tell them about the baby you abandoned. He deserves to know his mother. Security dragged him away, but not before half the crowd captured the entire scene. Amara felt the carpet shift under her heels. The lights became too bright. Her heart slammed against her ribs. They rushed her into the VIP lounge. The chatter outside sounded like 1,000 knives cutting through her reputation. Kayama tried to steady her. Madam, breathe. Please breathe. But Amara couldn't. Her world was collapsing. The walls felt too close. Her perfectly designed life. Her soft life crown. Everything was crumbling because of one truth she buried long ago. Her secret. Her child. The baby she left behind to chase a new life in Lagos. And now, the past had come in human form. Chaik. The only person who knew everything. The internet explodes. Before the night ended. Hashtag Amara Nwankwo. Hashtag who is her child. Hashtag Amara secret. Were trending on Twitter. Gossip blogs typed faster than they breathed. Famous influencer exposed. Luxury queen hiding a child? Is Amara Gold living a lie? People dug for information. Anyone who had ever known her in Enugu suddenly had something to say. Her management team begged her to release a statement. But Amara couldn't speak. She sat on the couch, trembling, staring at the floor as if the truth was written in the tiles. Her glamorous life had cracked open, and the whole country was watching. When she returned home long after midnight, she didn't turn on the lights. She sat in the darkness of her living room, her gold dress still on, her makeup ruined with tears. Her phone vibrated non-stop. She picked it up once. A message from her auntie. "Amara, he is asking for you. The boy wants to know why you never came back." Her chest broke. She dropped the phone and pressed her hands to her face. That night, the glamorous Amara Gold disappeared. Only Amara, the girl who once cried in a small hospital room, remained. The morning after the perfume launch, Lagos woke up hungry. And Amara Gold was the feast. Her name filled every blog headline. Her videos flooded TikTok. Influencers discussed her like breaking news. Journalists dragged her past through the mud with excitement. Everywhere Amara turned, her world was falling apart. The internet turns cold. Her Instagram comment section became a battlefield. "So you abandoned your own child? Fake soft life. Role model for who? All that glitters is lies." Thousands of angry comments. Her loyal fans were confused, disappointed, or silent. Her haters were celebrating like Christmas came early. Amara tried to post a carefully written statement. "I was young, overwhelmed, and afraid." But the internet did not want explanations. Within minutes, the comments tore her apart. Young is not an excuse. So other young mothers should abandon their babies too. Hypocrite. She deleted the post immediately. But screenshots lived longer than truth. By noon, her manager arrived at the apartment with terrible news. "Amara, the skincare company has paused our contract." She swallowed. "Okay. What about the makeup brand?" Her manager hesitated. "They've cancelled officially." Amara closed her eyes. "What about the perfume deal?" "The investors want to withdraw." Her heart cracked. Everything she built, every sleepless night, every deal, every brand partnership, began slipping through her fingers like sand. She wanted to scream, to run, to hide. Instead, she folded her shaking arms and whispered, "Is this how everything ends?" The group of friends who once filled her weekends with laughter and parties were suddenly busy, traveling, unavailable. "Thinking of you, babe, but I can't be involved." Her phone that rang non-stop before now stayed silent for hours. People only wanted her when she was glowing, not when she was bleeding. Desperate to clear her head, Amara and Kayoma drove to Club Mirage. It had always been her safe space. But as she stepped toward the VIP entrance, the bouncer blocked her. "Ma, the management said your section is not available tonight." Amara blinked. "What do you mean? I'm always..." "Sorry, Ma. Orders from above." For the first time in years, Amara felt the sting of humiliation cut through her heart. Kayoma tried to hold her, but Amara stepped back, eyes burning with tears. Even the nightlife she gave life to didn't want her anymore. A week later, a major TV station traveled to Enugu. They arrived at her aunt's small compound with cameras and microphones. Her aunt sat stiffly, hands shaking, embarrassed and overwhelmed. The young boy, Amara's son, peeked from behind the door, wide-eyed and innocent. The reporters coaxed him gently. "Do you know your mother?" A pause. A small nod. A quiet. "She sent money sometimes, but I haven't seen her." That single sentence broke the internet. Clips spread everywhere. People stitched it into TikToks. Blogs titled it, "The Child Amara Gold Abandoned Speaks Out." Amara watched the video from her living room floor. Knees pulled to her chest. Hands covering her mouth. Tears dropping silently onto her designer carpet. Her chest felt like it was collapsing. She had lived her whole life afraid of this moment. And now it was here. Painful. Public. Unforgiving. 4 days, she didn't open her curtains. She didn't dress up. She didn't post anything. All she did was stare at her reflection in tears and whisper, "What have I done? What have I done?" Kayoma, always by her side, tried to help. "Madam, please eat." "I'm not hungry." "Madam, maybe talk to someone." There's no one to talk to. Madam. Just leave me. Kayoma stepped back with tears in her eyes. She had never seen Amara like this. The Queen of Lagos. The soft life goddess. The golden girl of Instagram. Was now sitting in a dark living room. As alone as the girl she used to be. Her world had fallen apart. But something inside her whispered, if you want peace, you must return to where it all began. And Amara knew exactly where that was. Silence became Amara's only companion. Silence in her apartment. Silence in her phone. Silence in her heart. Until one morning, after another sleepless night, she stood up slowly, walked to her wardrobe, pulled out a simple black dress, and said quietly, I have to go home. Kayoma, who had been sleeping on the couch to keep her company, lifted her head. Madam, are you sure? Amara didn't answer. She didn't need to. Because the truth was simple. Running had destroyed her. Only facing her past could save her. She packed a small bag, covered her face with a scarf, ordered a bus ticket, and left Lagos quietly. No makeup, no cameras, no designer bags, no entourage. The queen of the spotlight slipped into the shadows. The journey was long and heavy. Every pothole felt like a reminder. Every tree they passed looked like a witness. When the bus finally stopped, Amara stepped down into the familiar red dust of her old world. Everything looked the same. The cracked roads, the rusted zinc roofs, the smell of firewood drifting through the breeze. Except her. She walked through narrow footpaths until she reached the small compound she once called home. Her aunt stood in the doorway, wiping her hands on a wrapper, eyes already shiny with unshed tears. Behind her stood him. The boy. Her son. Bigger than she remembered. Still innocent. Still curious. Still waiting. Amara's legs trembled. She dropped to her knees immediately, hands covering her face as she cried. My son, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her aunt stepped aside. The boy hesitated, then slowly walked toward her. He touched her shoulder gently. Mummy, don't cry. That single word, Mummy, broke the last piece of her heart. She pulled him into her arms and sobbed harder than she ever had in Lagos. Not out of shame, but out of release. For the first time, she let the pain breathe. Later that evening, Amara sat in the small compound, the boy leaning quietly beside her. Firewood crackled. The night smelled of rain and dust. She asked her aunt for one thing. Please, bring my phone. Her aunt handed it to her without a word. No makeup. No lighting. No stylist. Just Amara. Raw. Bare. Human. She pressed record. Her voice shook at first, but she kept going. I owe you the truth. I wasn't always the woman you see online. I came from fear, and I let that fear make decisions I regret every day. I had a child I wasn't ready for. I left because I thought running would fix everything. It didn't. It broke me. And now, I am here to be a mother again. She paused, wiping tears. If you judge me, I understand. If you forgive me, God bless you. But today, I choose honesty. Today, I choose healing. She posted it, turned off the phone, and held her son close. The video spread like wildfire. But this time, something different happened. People cried. Women shared similar stories. Younger girls thanked her for being honest. Single mothers prayed for her. Yes, some mocked. Some judged. Some insulted. But a new wave rose, people who saw her humanity, not her perfection. Her follower count dropped. But the ones who stayed were real. Brands pulled out. But strangers sent messages of support. The loud world of Lagos became quiet. But her small world in Enugu became peaceful. A new beginning. Amara spent the following weeks in her hometown. A helping her aunt. Cooking for her son. A learning his habits. A making up for lost years. A breathing again. One afternoon, she received a message. We want to partner with you, not for luxury, but for your story. Let's build a foundation for young mothers who feel trapped. She smiled softly. This time, her success wasn't a mask. It was purpose. She returned to Lagos eventually, Not as Amara Gold, queen of the spotlight, but as Amara, a woman who had faced herself and survived. Her son visited often. Her followers grew again, slower, but stronger. Her foundation opened 6 months later. The glitter she once chased was gone. But in its place stood something brighter. Healing. Truth. Motherhood. Peace. Amara didn't get her old life back. She created a better one. Moral of the story. You can run from a place, but you can't run from yourself. Amara built a life of beauty and luxury, but her deepest wounds traveled with her. True freedom didn't come from fame. It came from returning to the very place she tried to forget and choosing honesty over perfection.